Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Baseball Reference Deep Dives with Zany Baseball. Doing another Baseball Reference Deep Dive here today, the YouTube series where we type in random in the search bar on Baseball Reference, and we see what we can get. Last time we got a manager, a short-term player for the Pirates and the St. Louis Browns, and it looks like today we have a game. The Cleveland Indians and the Boston Red Sox, September 21st, 1929. Bad Red Sox team, decent Indians team, probably not playoff bound though. Ooh, Johnny Miljuice. I recognize this name because he was with the Pirates. Yes. In our, what was his name? Burwell. Bill Burwell? We gotta find it. Who was it? Bill Burwell, yep. 3-year player, 1-year manager, in fact, 1-game manager. Johnny Miljuice pitched, I believe, in the last game that he ever played in. So taking a look at him, Pittsburgh native, actually. Wait a second. He went to Duquesne. Have I been spreading misinformation this whole time? Whoa, wait a second. Oh my. I have. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's what happened. I was talking to my friends about Joe Beimel just recently, within 2 days ago. And I was just looking through his baseball reference page recently, and I saw, Duquesne University. I saw that he was drafted out of Duquesne. And so I clicked on this, and based on the information that I was given, I was under the impression that he was the only MLB player to come out of Duquesne. That's not the case, though, because he's the only one that was drafted out of Duquesne. So Duquesne has had several baseball players come out of there. And it looks like 10 total, unless there's some overlap here. Joe Beimel was the most recent, obviously. I mean, the most recent before him was this guy in the 60s. But Johnny Miljuice went to Duquesne University. And yes, it does not look like Duquesne, but that is how you say it. It's not Duquesne, Duquesne. It's in Pittsburgh. How about that? That's crazy how Baseball Reference is literally fact-checking me in live time. Johnny Miljuice. So he was part of this game. What year are we in? We're in 29. Okay, so this was the final year of his career. Was this the last game that he pitched in? No, we're September 21st. So the second to last game of Johnny Miljuice. How about this? Okay, so let's walk through this here. So the Indians, 2 early runs. This is at Fenway Park. That's cool. Red Sox get a couple in the 5th to tie it. Indians get 1. Red Sox tie it in the 9th and then walk it off in the 10th with 2 outs. Okay. So this is pretty crazy. So Miljuice started this game, only went 4 1/3. And then Clint Brown pitched 7 1/3 in relief and got the loss. Jack Russell, 9 innings. Bill Bayne came in and got the win. Okay, let's go through these players. See if we can find any interesting tidbits. Dick Porter. Long time with Cleveland. This was his first year. Decent batting average, and it seems to track as far as the OPS plus goes. Again, this was the era where there wasn't a whole lot of power, so extra base hits, Usually meant a good bit in this era. Dick Porter, first year with Cleveland. When did he make his debut? It was early part of this season, so that makes sense. Was traded to these Red Sox, it looks like, later in his career for Wes Farrell. With Wes Farrell for Bob Seeds, Bob Weiland, Doc Farrell. Red Sox-Yankees trade. Interesting. Okay. So he got passed around a little bit. That Yankees-Red Sox trade, he never appeared for the Yankees. So Dick Porter led off, went 3 for 5. Heck of a game. Jackie Tavener. Most games played in 1926. This was the final year of his career. Got some MVP votes in 1927. This guy must have been a wizard defensively, if I had to guess. Fielding stats? Yes, most definitely. Turned 92 double plays? Second baseman? Shortstop? Wow. I feel like that's a lot. Because if you figure, that has to account for a middle infield. I mean, that's got to be a shortstop, second base double play once every other game, essentially. More than that, actually. That's kind of crazy. 96 double plays? Is that the number? 92 double plays in the 26th season. So this was a pretty incredible year for him. This last year with Cleveland, only played in 92 games, did not hit very well. I mean, he never really did hit super well. In fact, he had the worst OPS plus possible in his rookie season. Jackie Tavener. Kind of his last stop along the way. Earl Averill, who is a Hall of Famer. 5'9" center fielder. Long time with Cleveland. This was his rookie year, actually. Led the league in at-bats in 1931. Games played in 34. This was a stretch of 6 straight All-Star appearances. Led the league in hits. Wow, that's a bunch of hits. And triples this year. Finished third in MVP voting. Who did he finish behind is the question. Lou Gehrig and Luke Appling. A couple of pretty darn good players themselves. Lou Gehrig, man, look at that slash. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. So 2,000 career hits, career 318 hitter. OPS is up there too. Especially for this era. I mean, he could slug. 238 career homers. This was his rookie year. He hit 18. Walked more than he struck out. Got caught stealing this year more than he stole bases, both of which were career highs. Holy crap, look at these RBI numbers too. He was very consistent in driving in runs. Makes a lot of sense why he was right in the middle of this Cleveland order, as well as a Hall of Famer. Earl Averill, Hall of Famer. It's a new one to add to your portfolio. Lou Fonseca, MVP and batting title. And that was in this season. 103 ribbies. He hit .369. And he won the MVP. 15 triples, 44 doubles, 209 hits. What a season. right in the middle of his career. Began with the Reds, Philadelphia A's, then ended with the White Sox. MVP in 1929. Not much slug, but great batting average. Not really the speediest guy either. Stole some bases, but not often. And he's one of these guys that struck out more than he walked in this era, which is interesting. Although this year is an outlier. Look at that, 50 walks to 23 strikeouts. So that's your MVP, Lou Fonseca. Lou Fonseca. MVP in 1929. Bib Falk. Texas. Born in Texas, died in Texas, went to high school in Texas, went to college in Texas, buried in Texas. Last thing he needs is to play on a Texas team, which I don't know if any Texas teams existed at this point. This was his first year with Cleveland after being with the White Sox for a long time. Got some MVP votes in the 26th season. This year, career high in homers. Hit 312, which is about the average for his career. Pretty solid OPS plus over the course of his years. Solid player, Bib Falk. Texas. Joe Sewell. Hall of Famer. 5'6", 155 pounds. Representing the Short Kings, of which I am one. It's my new favorite player right here, Joe Sewell. Long time with Cleveland. Became a Yankee in the early 30s. This season had the most sacrifice hits with 41. So sac flies, I think that's included all in one. I believe sacrifice hits includes both sac bunts and flies. I don't know exactly where in Baseball Reference it splits those off. But look at this. I mean, he was double digits every year. And this year he led the league in that. 315, 800 OPS, right around league average. That's the thing. You think about how OPS has evolved over time. Around an 800 OPS was league average. Right now, league average OPS, I would say, is probably closer to 750. Led the league in doubles in the 24 season. Got a lot of MVP votes. Hall of Famer, two-time World Series champion. Joe Sewell, another Hall of Famer, along with Lou Fonseca. Johnny Hodap. Whoa. 1 year off from a really impressive season. 225 hits and 51 doubles. It's impressive. Came off some MVP votes in 1928. This year he missed a bit of the year. He was pretty inconsistent as far as games played. This year in 90 games, hit 327. Yeah, interesting. And then he really just broke out this year in his only full season, it looks like. Johnny Hodap. Luke Sewell, Akron, Ohio. One-time All-Star with the White Sox. Got some MVP votes as well. Finished his career with the St. Louis Browns. So he was with Cleveland for a long time. Never really got his traction until late 20s. Catcher. Not a great offensive catcher, although most catchers in this day weren't, save Yogi Berra. Wonder what his defensive numbers were like, if it'll tell me. Fielding, there we go. Yep, he was pretty good. A lot of caught stealings. Led the league in that regard for the last bit of the 20s. Double plays? This has to be catching double plays, right? I would have to imagine. A lot of assists as a catcher. How about that? That's kind of wild. So he was excellent defensively, Luke Sewell. Looked at Johnny Miljuice for a second. Let's take one more look at him just for the heck of it. So, time with Pittsburgh, very good this season. And then it was not nearly as good in 28. Was it 28? Yeah. 28 was our other episode that we had most recently. I believe that's episode 13 on the playlist. So this was his second to last outing ever. The last one came a couple of days after our game here. We're September 21st, 1929. And then Clint Brown, who finished off the game, split some time in Cleveland, bisected by the White Sox. This is interesting. He's a reliever at the end of his career. Again, there weren't a lot of them at this time. Most of these guys would go most of the game. But this guy here, Clint Brown, was primarily used in that role latter half of his career. He got some MVP votes in 1939. This is early in his career, actually. Ooh, this is one of his first ever games. Made his debut the year before. Okay. Interesting. Clint Brown. All right, so that's the Indians portion of this lineup. Let's take a look at the Red Sox. See if we get any names. Bobby Reeves. Not a lot of time. This is his first year with the Red Sox. Got some MVP votes with Washington. Interesting. He was hit by a pitch most times in the 29 season. Kind of a mediocre guy. Bobby Reeves leading off today, and he went 0 for 4. Joe Cicero. This was in his first season. He only played 3. So he was a pinch hitter primarily. Is that right? Yeah. 313. So this is a Red Sox over 300 season that you can have in your grid. 2 doubles, 2 triples. Part of 10 hits this season. Nickname was Doty. Joe Cicero. And I think it said at this point he was hitting 1,000. So this had to have been to start his career, right? Joe Cicero. Wait, is this his first game? Hold on. Hold the phone. No, he played the day before. Okay, but he had a hit the day before, too. Okay, let's take a look at this. So how many hits did he have to start his career successfully? Because it looks like he was a primary pinch hitter. So he must have pinch hit here. So he's 2 for 2 to start his career, both in pinch hitting roles. looks like he pinch hit the next day and didn't get anything. But look at this. This looks like his first start. Yeah, first start. Went 1 for 4. Another start with a hit. So he played in, what, 10 games? And he failed to record a hit just twice in those 10 games. That's impressive. Again, didn't really stick around very long, but hey, stop that. I don't care. I'll have my ad blocker on if I want it on. Gosh darn it. So Joe Cicero, 300 batting average in a season with the Red Sox. Remember that for your grids. Bill Bayne, another Pittsburgh guy, left pitcher. End of his career. Never really great. Although I guess ERAs were a little bit higher. See, that's the thing. I can't wrap my head around the 20s. I want to say the 20s were so polarizing. I feel like the best hitters were like immortals. And then the average hitter was just, not great at all. But there were so many immortals in this period that it balanced it out in a way. So hitting was good when it was, or hitting was really, really good when it was good. And it wasn't good at all when it wasn't. And then the pitching was kind of just it was fine. Nobody was really exceptional. Nobody was terrible. That's the thing. The 20s are a weird era for me because I don't really know what to think. I don't know if I want to say that they're hitter friendly or more pitcher friendly. So that was Bill Bayne. This is Bill Barrett. Towards the end of his career, he was traded this season. Very early on, it seems like. From the White Sox. Traded in 29 for Doug Tate. Immediately, essentially. Purchased from Reading International. Wonder what that is. So it wasn't major leagues. It might have been a pilot league or something like that. Long time with the White Sox. Decent numbers. This is an okay hitter. Not terrible. John Rothrock. Boston guy. Some MVP votes scattered around. Whoa. Oh, okay. I see these bolded numbers and I get excited. This guy was just the Iron Man in 1934, it looks like. Missed the 33 season for whatever reason. Pretty good numbers this year. Not great league average-wise, but career highs pretty much across the board, it looks like. Except for some stolen bases and stuff in there. Jack Rothrock. Russ Scarrett. Pensacola, Florida. Went to the University of Florida in Gainesville. This was his first season. His only full season, it looks like. Decent numbers. Got an MVP vote or two, perhaps. 17 triples, 26 doubles. Dang. 1 home run. Three career homers. Went to Philly for just a handful of games to end his career. Russ Scarrett. Bill Regan. A lot of Bills on the Red Sox in this age. Pirates, 1931. MVP votes a little bit in this 27-28. He was pretty consistent. Not exceptional, not terrible for this era. Never an above average hitter, but just slightly below average pretty much the entire time. Bill Regan, second baseman. Phil Todd. Tot. I'm going to say Tot. Mid to back end of his career. MVP votes in this range. Led the league in sack hits in 28. Again, that's the thing. Thinking about sacrifice bunts now specifically, it's a lost art. I mean, this used to be what the game of baseball was. Get people on, move them over, and then drive them in. You know, that's kind of how it used to be, and it's really not that way anymore. See, that's the thing is, say you're in the ninth inning and your game is tied, and the guy ahead of you to lead off the inning hits a single. Some of these guys get up to the plate and they're taking these massive hacks and they're trying to go yard and win the game when all you need to do is just move them over and then have two shots at a single. You know, sure, you can always win the game with one swing, but I don't know. It's just like the team aspect of baseball was so much more aggrandized in this era. The philosophy was so much different. Phil Tot. Johnny Heving. Catcher. Salisbury, North Carolina. So began his career, had one at-bat for the St. Louis Browns in 1920. Didn't play for 3 straight years. Played a couple. Missed, 2 more years. Then came back. This kind of reminds me of like a committee guy. I had a decent batting average this year, best of his career. Another over 300 batting average for a Boston Red Sox. Johnny Heving. Couple more. Some pitchers. Elliot Bigelow. Say he died early? Yeah, he did. Oh my goodness. He died young, just 35. That was just a couple years after this. This was his only year. Wow. 1 career homer. Let's take a look at this. Elliot Bigelow. Played 100 games in the major leagues. Not terrible numbers as far as league average goes. Let's see who his home run was against. See when that came. See, these are the people that get forgotten in history, and you know, this is why we do this series, is to kind of bring light to these people. And this is over, well, not quite 100 years ago, but getting around there. Big hit in this one. His only career home run. It was a solo shot, it said. Solo shot. Started things off in this inning. Was that the 4th inning? Yeah, against the White Sox. Early on in the season. Only career home run for Elliot Bigelow. Died very young. 1 season of big league baseball. To say that you've made it is something that's very few in the history of the world can say. Bob Asbjornson. Bjorn, I believe that's how you say this. I can't remember what nationality that is. Bjorn. That is Scandinavian, I believe. Right? Bjorn? Bjornsson? Son would make sense. Norway? Sweden? Somewhere around there. Says he's from Massachusetts, but I would imagine he probably has some roots in Scandinavian countries. Second season, didn't play much, not quite 100 games over 4 seasons. 3 hits. Wow. Hey, look at this. Another 300 batting average. This is his best year by far. 45 games, 22 ribbies. Above league average this season. It's impressive. Never really had much of a role with the Red Sox, but he came into this game, it looked like maybe as like a defensive switch. Yes, that looks to be the case. Alex Gaston. Negative WAR. This was his final season. It was not his final game. Played with the New York Giants early in the I want to say the 2020s, but it was just the 20s. Couple of dingers this season. Most of his career in a single year. Never hit much. Alex Gaston. Hal Ryan. Still no Hall of Famers on this Red Sox team. We did have a couple with Cleveland. First year with Boston, after being with the Pirates a couple of seasons. 2 homers in his first year and never again. Hal Ryan, infielder. Jack Russell, whom started this game. Long career, 15 seasons. Saved a couple. Led the league in losses the year after this. Actually lost a lot of games. His walks per 9 was the most. Look at this. Walks per 9. Or no, this was the best walks per 9 this season. So this guy didn't walk anybody. But he also didn't strike out anybody. So his walks per 9 led the league this season. And yet, it hardly was even better than his Ks per 9. In fact, it was still worse. So he didn't walk anybody. So this guy just threw strikes. And he didn't care if he got knocked around, which it seemed like he did. Good year, good year, good year, not a good year. This year was fine. Just didn't get any help, it looks like. Bounced around a good bit at the end of his career. Was an all-star with Washington. Went back to Boston in 36. Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis. So he was all around. Jack Russell, this would be a good grid guy. Big grid guy, Jack Russell. All right, I think we got one more. Bill Narleski. 2 seasons. About the worth of 1 season. This was age 29. More walks than strikeouts. Love it. I love it. No homers. Diminished role. But, again, one of those guys that made it. Alright, let's see what the flavor of this game looks like. So we got Lou Fonseca, one of our Hall of Famers, who doubled in this game for Cleveland. Also Phil Tott. A little back and forth we had here. Got going with that RBI double from Fonseca. Cleveland added on with the other Hall of Famer, Earl Averill, RBI single. And then Boston would strike back. Walk, single, single. Wild pitch here. An intentional walk, which he actually had to throw 4 pitches in this era. That chased Johnny Miljuice. Clint Brown came in for him. At this point, we're 2-2. Cleveland retakes the lead. Earl Averill, another base hit, gives Cleveland the lead. But then the Red Sox come back. Narleski pinch hits for the pitcher, pops out. Joe Cicero, again, who was 1-for-1 to start his career, pinch hits. He singles. And then a Bill Barrett single followed by fielder's choice. E6. Okay, so they tried to get him at the plate and they didn't get him. So that was Cicero. Okay. So our guy Cicero, who started off his career red hot, was the catalyst for tying this game in the ninth, which there was just one out at this point. Couple of ground outs. And then Bill Bayne and Clint Brown going back and forth till we get a Phil Tots clutch double, bottom 12, pop out ground outs, and then they didn't want to pitch to Bill Narleski. Why? Is there a reason? He grounded into a double play before, so at this point, he's still at second base, so they're like, okay, we've got a base open. They didn't want to pitch to Narleski. Instead, they pitched to Bill Bayne, and he walks him off with a single. Let's look at this Narleski guy one more time. So he pinch hit. He also walked in this game, which I assume came in extras. They just did not want to pitch to him for whatever reason. Was he hot? What was going on here? That's a really weird intentional walk. Let's go to September. Was he raking at this point? Let's see. This is our game right here. He had barely even played before. I mean, he was hot, kinda. He was on a 4-game hitting streak. This is 1 for 2, 4 for 7, 5 for 8, 6 for 10. So he was hitting 600 in his last several at-bats, but he was 0 for 2 in this game after pinch hitting. They decided to walk him. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. But again, like, you got him to ground into a double play his last at-bat. So why walk him there? That was a mistake. And then who was our guy that walked it off? Was our leadoff hitter, right? Or no, it was Bill Bayne. Was the pitcher? No way, it was the pitcher. Oh, that's why. No shot. That's so sick. It is the pitcher. Oh my goodness. The Bill Bayne game. No way. Wow. How awesome is that? Bill Bayne comes in relief. It's one of the final games of his career. What was he like at the plate? He was a good hitter. This guy was a good hitter. His OPS plus in these years was better than league average. What were they doing? They did not play the numbers right. Whoever the manager was, that was a mistake. Look at these batting numbers. 2 for 5. This year was a bigger year, but he still hit okay. Couple of doubles in there. Hit 300 this year. Not a great year, not a great year. This year, 14 at-bats, 6 hits, 2 extra base hits. Same thing here. Hit 367, 320, hit 500. This was the, or no, this wasn't the last hit of his career. So he was 1 for 2 in 1930. So we're in 1929. The Bill Bayne game, people. Look at this guy. The Pittsburgh guy. That's awesome. The Bill Bayne game. Who would have thunk? Man, I love this. I love this stuff. This is awesome. You will always remember where you were when the Cleveland Indians walked Bill Narleski to get to the pitcher, Bill Bayne, and he walked off those Johns, absolutely spoiling anything the Indians had going. Roger Peckinpah, you made a mistake. Actually, this guy's a Hall of Famer, isn't he? Or no, he won MVP. Oh, that's what it was. With the Yankees. Yes. Or no. Washington. Interesting. I did recognize that name, though. So he made a mistake. Made a big mistake. So let's see how close the Indians were this season. Our guy Lou Fonseca won the MVP this season. Indians weren't close. They weren't catching the A's. So this was the American League. Let's check the NL. Cubs this season. It was the A's over the Cubs in 4. So this was 1929, right? Yes. Cubs kind of ran away with the National League. And then where did the Red Sox finished dead last? I mean, it didn't really matter at this stage of the game. I mean, this is late September, so A's just ripped through everybody. Led the league in every category you can think of. But Lou Fonseca, Hall of Famer, won MVP in 1929. This was the end of that season. Also learned about Earl Averill, another Hall of Famer. Got some more information on Duquesne University with Johnny Miljuice, literally live correcting me in real time. Joe Cicero started his career with some incredible numbers pinch hitting. And then, again, where were you? Where were you when they walked Bill Narleski to get to Bill Bayne? The Bill Bayne game, September 21st, 1929. The reeling Boston Red Sox walked off the Cleveland Indians in 12 innings. What a pull. Old baseball, man. This is great. Great stuff. Really good episode of our baseball reference deep dive. And as always, I appreciate you guys checking this little series out that I've got going on. I'm planning to upload as much as I can this winter. So if you're interested, leave a like and consider subscribing. And I will see you guys next time in the next baseball reference deep dive with myself, Zany Baseball.